Echo, help me wash my hands.
Okay, here we go. Wash your hands, everybody. Everybody, wash your hands. So here's a song, sing along. Tell germs nope, grab the soap. Make soap bubbles, on the double. Halfway there, give a mean stare to all the germs. Make them squirm, say goodbye. Don't be shy, rub a dub. Give a good scrub, suds aplenty, now you're at 20.
Echo, open wiki how.
I have a skill that can help you with that. Hi. Ask me how to do anything.
Echo, how do I protect against COVID?
How to prevent coronavirus. The best way to prevent coronavirus infection is to wash your hands thoroughly and often. When you wash your hands, scrub your hands, fingers, and under your fingernails with soap and warm, running water for at least 20 seconds. Make sure to wash your hands before eating or drinking or whenever you've been out in public. Remember to wash your hands before touching your eyes, nose, or mouth so you don't infect yourself if you've come into contact with the virus. You should also avoid any contact with other people who are sick, particularly if they're coughing, have a fever, or are short of breath. According to the World Health Organization, coronavirus spreads from person to person through small droplets from the nose or mouth that are expelled when an infected person coughs or exhales. These droplets land on objects and surfaces around the person. Other people catch the virus by touching these objects or surfaces or by breathing in droplets when near an infected individual. Always stay at least 2 meters, 6 feet, away from a person who is sick to avoid contact with coronavirus droplets. Though coronavirus is thought to mainly spread via people with symptoms, there have been reports of cases where people tested positive for coronavirus but showed no active symptoms. To best ensure safety from coronavirus, avoid large group settings and do your best to stay away from anyone who may have had contact with the virus, even if they don't appear to be sick. To protect your home from coronavirus, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention suggests cleaning high-touch surfaces with a disinfectant daily. Clean your doorknobs, kitchen counters, tables, toilets, phones, keyboards, and bathroom fixtures every day. According to Johns Hopkins University, disinfectant products are thought to be effective against coronavirus because of the weak outer envelope of the virus. If you are able, avoid traveling to places with known coronavirus cases, and visit cdc.gov for updated travel health notices. Say read steps, if you want me to read each step in detail.
Read steps.
Step 1. Stay away from people who are coughing or sneezing. Since COVID-19 is a respiratory infection, coughing and sneezing are common symptoms. Additionally, coughing and sneezing both release the virus into the air, so they may increase your risk of infection. Keep your distance from people who appear to have symptoms of an upper respiratory infection. If it's appropriate, ask the person to stay away from you. You could say, "I noticed you were coughing. I hope you feel better soon, but please keep your distance from me so I don't get sick." If you know someone that has been around sick people, it's a good idea to distance yourself from them, too. You never know if that person got sick. Say next, to get the next step.
Next.
Step 2. Wash your hands with soap and water to minimize your infection risk. The best way to prevent COVID-19 is to wash your hands as often as possible. Wick your hands with warm water, then apply a mild soap. Work the soap into a lather for 20 to 30 seconds, then rinse your hands clean under warm running water. This is about how long it takes to sing the happy birthday song to yourself twice, so pretend you're celebrating someone's birthday. The World Health Organization recommends not just rubbing your hands palm to palm, but interlacing and interlocking your fingers in a variety of different ways to make sure every surface is clean. Use the paper towel you dry your hands off with to turn off the faucet. Always wash your hands before you eat or drink anything. However, it's also best to wash your hands anytime you're out in public or after you're around someone you suspect may be sick. If you can't wash your hands, use a hand sanitizer that contains 60 to 95% alcohol. Alcohol percentages higher than 95% are actually less effective. Say next, to get the next step.
Next.
Step 3. Keep your hands away from your eyes, nose, and mouth. You may come into contact with coronavirus on a surface, like a doorknob or countertop. When this happens, the germs can linger on your hands, so you can easily infect yourself if you touch your face with dirty hands. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth in case the virus is on your skin. If you need to touch your face, wash your hands first so you're less likely to infect yourself. Say next to get the next step.
Next.
Step 4. Don't shake hands with people, whether they show symptoms or not. Unfortunately, people who are infected with COVID-19 may spread the illness even if they aren't showing symptoms. You might say, "I'm happy to meet you. Normally I'd shake your hand, but the CDC recommends limiting personal contact right now to help prevent the spread of coronavirus." Say next to get the next step.
Next.
Step 5. Disinfect high-touch surfaces daily using a product that kills viruses. Unfortunately, coronavirus can linger on surfaces, such as doorknobs, countertops, and faucets. Use a spray disinfectant or bleach wipes to clean these surfaces daily. Make sure the surface stays wet for about 10 minutes so it effectively kills the virus. This limits the risk of the virus lingering on the surfaces and potentially causing an infection. In your home, disinfect your front door knob, kitchen counters, bathroom counters, and faucets. At work, clean surfaces that people tend to touch, such as doorknobs, stair railings, tables, and surface counters. You can also make disinfectant by mixing 1 cup, 240 milliliters, of bleach with 1 gallon, 3.8 liters, of warm water. Say next to get the next step.
Next.
Last step. Avoid bad information and unconfirmed rumors about coronavirus. Myths about COVID-19 have spread on social media, sometimes causing unnecessary fear. Get the facts about COVID-19 from a reliable source like the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, or the World Health Organization, WHO. Additionally, it's helpful to fact-check your sources before making any decisions. While this new strain of coronavirus was first thought to have originated in China, it is not connected to Asian people. Don't treat someone differently or distance yourself from someone because they are Asian. Treat everyone with kindness and remember that anyone can get infected no matter what their race or ethnicity is. According to WHO, you cannot get COVID-19 from mail or products. WHO also denies that there are specific foods that prevent COVID-19. You've reached the end of the article. Do you want to learn how to do something else? You can ask me now.
Echo. How do I prevent cross-contamination?
How to avoid cross-contamination. 4 steps. Step 1. Keep ready-to-eat and raw foods separate in your shopping cart. Drippings from raw meat, poultry, and seafood can contaminate other foods even before you head to the checkout line. Place raw foods in the bottom of your shopping cart as far away from ready-to-eat items as possible. Never store meat on top of produce or place a bag of veggies directly on top of a package of raw meat. Ready-to-eat foods are items that don't need to be cooked or have already been cooked. Examples include fruits, vegetables, and deli meats. Foods that aren't ready to eat, such as raw chicken breast or raw ground beef, need to be cooked before you eat them. Cooking raw meats kills germs and makes them safe to eat. If drippings from raw chicken breast get on an apple, eating the apple will put you at risk of getting sick. Say next to get the next step.
Next.
Step 2. Bag raw meat, poultry, and seafood separately at checkout. If you bag groceries yourself, place raw and ready-to-eat foods in separate bags. When you don't bag your own groceries, make sure the employee bagging them keeps raw foods away from produce, cheese, and other ready-to-eat foods. If possible, bag a package of raw meat, poultry, or seafood in plastic or paper before placing it into a reusable tote. Say next to get the next step.
Next.
Step 3. Get your groceries to the fridge within 2 hours. Raw meats, dairy, and eggs need to be refrigerated within 2 hours. Schedule your errands so your groceries won't have to hang out in the car for an extended period of time. If you can't get to a fridge within 2 hours, store your groceries in an insulated bag or cooler. Say next to get the next step.
Next.
Last step. Wash reusable totes with hot, soapy water. Don't store your reusable totes in your vehicle's trunk or back seat. Wash them frequently by hand or in the washing machine on a hot cycle. If you used a tote to carry boxed or canned items, you don't have to wash it after using it. However, you should wash a tote after using it to carry raw meat, poultry, or seafood. It's also wise to wash a tote after using it to carry produce. You've reached the end of the article. Do you want to learn how to do something else? You can ask me now.
Echo, how do I prevent foodborne illness?
How to prevent E. coli poisoning. 4 steps. Step 1. Cook all meat thoroughly. Never eat ground meat that is still pinkish. Cook ground meat until the thickest part of the meat reaches 160 degrees Fahrenheit, 71 degrees Celsius. Ground poultry should reach 165 degrees Fahrenheit, 74 degrees Celsius, at the thickest part. All other non-ground cuts of meat should be cooked to at least 145 degrees Fahrenheit, 63 degrees Celsius. Avoid runny eggs or raw fish and shellfish that have not been properly stored. Say next, to get the next step.
Next.
Step 2. Never cross-contaminate raw meat with other food. Do not reuse plates, utensils, or surfaces, such as cutting boards, that have come into contact with raw meat. Always wash these items before using them for cooked food, raw vegetable preparation, or serving. Say next, to get the next step.
Next.
Step 3. Wash all produce thoroughly. All raw vegetables should be washed thoroughly, whether they are from a supermarket or the backyard garden. Proper cleaning of fresh produce, such as leafy greens, helps remove dirt that may carry E. coli. Say next, to get the next step.
Next.
Last step. Store food and drinks properly. Raw meats should be promptly refrigerated or frozen and stored separately from foods that are ready to eat. You should also avoid unpasteurized milk, juice, and other beverages. You've reached the end of the article. Do you want to learn how to do something else? You can ask me now.
Echo, how do I end chronic fatigue?
How to overcome fatigue. To overcome fatigue, drink water throughout the day, especially after exercising or exerting yourself, since dehydration can cause fatigue. Also, try to get in a little bit of physical exercise every day, even if you're just going for a walk, since exercise can help reduce the level of fatigue you're feeling. Even though it might sound counterintuitive, limit your consumption of caffeine and stimulants, since they can actually make you more fatigued in the long run when their effects wear off. Say read steps, if you want me to read each step in detail.
Read steps.
Step 1. Get plenty of sleep. For the average preoccupied member of today's workforce, proper rest and relaxation often takes a backseat to the many duties and stresses of everyday life. If your routine keeps you from getting a good night's sleep, you're in good company. Today, lack of proper sleep is recognized as a problem affecting many millions of people in the developed world. When it comes to curing fatigue, there's no substitute for consistently getting a good night's sleep, so if you don't know the cause of your fatigue, start here. Though everyone's sleep needs are different, most reputable sources agree that the majority of adults need about 7 to 9 hours of sleep each night. Children usually need several more hours of sleep than adults. Say next, to get the next step.
Next.
Step 2. Exercise. The health benefits of a regular exercise routine are many. Not only can exercise make you better looking, better feeling, and healthier, but also improve your overall energy levels and make it easier to sleep at night. Research has shown that even minor increases in the amount of exercise a person participates in can have a major effect on the level of fatigue she feels. The benefits of exercise are especially great for people with no established exercise routine, so if you're not physically active, try working out regularly to fight your feelings of fatigue. As with sleep, the amount of exercise that different people need can vary based on their age, sex, size, and fitness level. Most reputable sources will recommend about 2 to 2.5 hours of moderate aerobic exercise in addition to strength training exercise on 2 days of the week for adults. However, if you're starting from a base level of no exercise, it may be necessary to gradually work up to this goal. You can also take walks. Say next, to get the next step.
Next.
Step 3. Eat right. The way a person eats can have a serious effect on the amount of energy he has throughout the day. In general, eating a moderate diet rich in healthy carbohydrates and lean proteins will give a person lasting energy throughout the day. On the other hand, eating improperly, for instance, by indulging in rich, fatty foods, overloading on a single giant meal each day, or neglecting important nutrients, can leave you feeling bloated or sapped of energy. Remember, you are what you eat, so eat a healthy, balanced diet to feel healthy, balanced, and free from fatigue. For more information on starting a healthy high-energy diet, see the corresponding section below. Say next, to get the next step.
Next.
Step 4. Maintain a healthy weight. In general, people who have healthy weights for their frame and body size have more energy throughout the day than people who do not. In developed countries, obesity is a widespread health disorder that can seriously decrease an otherwise healthy person's level of energy throughout the day. However, the fatiguing effects of being underweight can be equally serious. Though everyone's ideal weight will be different, most adults should aim for a body mass index, BMI, of roughly 18.5 to 25. Try using an online BMI calculator to find your BMI score. Note that BMI scores aren't a perfect way to judge whether you have a healthy weight. For instance, if you're an athlete with a lot of muscle or were born with dwarfism, your BMI may be outside of the recommended range, but you may not be at risk for any health problems. If you're overweight, aim to lose weight at a healthy pace by gradually reducing the number of calories you eat each day and increasing your level of exercise. Don't attempt rapid weight loss with a crash diet. Depending on your size, eating less than 1,200 calories a day can be very stressful, energetically inefficient, and even unsafe. On top of this, it will leave you with almost no energy throughout your day, making your fatigue even worse. For more information, see how to lose weight. Say next, to get the next step.
Next.
Step 5. Keep your stress levels low. A looming deadline at work, an argument at home, a check that unexpectedly bounces. These sources of short-term stress can lead to a variety of long-term problems, including fatigue, if they're allowed to build up. Serious stress can be quite taxing for the body, leading to physical and emotional exhaustion that can deplete your daily energy and leave you feeling completely overwhelmed. In addition, stress is a frequent contributor to many other problems, including headache, anxiety, eating disorders, and more. Unfortunately, stress is something that almost everyone has to deal with. On the other hand, because stress is such a common complaint, there are a wide variety of resources available for those attempting to deal with stress. For instance, many online guides, of varying quality, for managing stress can be found with a simple search engine query like dealing with stress. For the best stress-fighting advice, however, talk to your doctor. Common stress reduction techniques include meditation, breathing exercises, designated downtime, physical exercise, and controlled venting. Say next, to get the next step.
Next.
Step 6. Practice inner body meditation. Attention or awareness is energy, and when you give attention to something, you are giving it energy. So if you focus your attention of tired cells within your body, you give them energy. Try this especially when you are tired or fatigued. Focus your attention in body where you feel fatigue. It could be face, legs, shoulders, eyes, etc. Hold your attention there, and you should witness that cells in your body regain energy and vibrate with joy. Subsequently feel the whole body as one, from the inside. You don't have to believe it. Just try it out. Say next, to get the next step.
Next.
Last step. Use stimulants sparingly. For these days when you just can't seem to get going, common stimulants like coffee, tea, energy drinks, and Sudafed can give you the quick jolt of energy you need in the short term. However, these quick fixes are bad ideas for increasing your energy in the long term, as they can eventually lead to low energy periods, or crashes, when their stimulating effect wears off. Worse, if you develop a habit to these substances, their effectiveness will decrease. In extreme cases, you may eventually need to take them just to achieve a normal level of energy. For these reasons, you'll want to avoid relying too heavily on these energy boosters. Instead, Try to adopt the healthy lifestyle changes described above. Never turn to illegal drugs to give you the energy you need to get through your day. Besides the widely publicized health risks of many of the most popular illegal stimulants, like cocaine, amphetamines, etc., a stimulant addiction can be a serious drain on your wallet. For instance, country singer Waylon Jennings purportedly spent over $1,000 per day on cocaine during the height of his addiction. You've reached the end of the article. Do you want to learn how to do something else? You can ask me now.
Echo, how do I prevent hypoxia?
How to prevent anemia. If you're concerned about getting anemia, talk to your doctor about whether you may be at risk. Educate yourself about common risk factors, such as eating a diet low in iron-rich foods or suffering blood loss due to trauma or a medical condition. If necessary, work with your doctor to manage any underlying conditions that might put you at risk. You can also talk to them about taking iron supplements or eating more foods that contain iron, folate, and vitamins C and B12. Say read steps, if you want me to read each step in detail.
Read steps.
Step 1. Be aware of your risk. Iron and vitamin deficiency anemia are two of the most common forms of anemia and are caused by either a shortage of iron or vitamin B12 and folate in your body. Almost any person can get iron or vitamin deficiency anemia, so being aware of your risk can help you prevent it. The following conditions may cause a shortage of iron, vitamin B12, or folate and lead to anemia. Vegans who don't take supplements, iron, folate, and B12 supplements, or people with a poor diet. Excessive blood loss from heavy menstrual bleeding, surgery, or other trauma. A gastric ulcer. Cancer, especially intestinal cancer. Polyps or other diseases, such as Crohn's or celiac disease, of the digestive tract. Prolonged use of aspirins or NSAIDs. Pregnancy. Insufficient iron, vitamin B12, or folate consumption in your diet. Say next, to get the next step.
Next.
Last step. Identify the symptoms of anemia. The signs of anemia don't show up immediately, or they may be mild. Be aware of these symptoms. Fatigue, weakness, dizziness, headache, numbness or coldness in your hands and feet, low body temperature, pale skin, rapid or irregular heartbeat, shortness of breath, chest pain, irritability. You've reached the end of the article. Do you want to learn how to do something else? You can ask me now.
Echo, how do I identify hypoxic?
How to know if you are anemic. Anemia is a condition where you have a low red
Echo.
blood count in your tissue.
How do I meditate?
How to meditate. To meditate, start by finding a calm, peaceful spot where you can sit down without being disturbed. Then, sit in a comfortable position on a chair or on the floor and close your eyes. Start by breathing deeply in through your nose and out through your mouth. Visualize your breath filling your lungs and leaving again, until you feel your breath settle into a rhythm. Now, starting from the top of your head, slowly scan down your body from head to toe. As you focus on each part of your body, feel your muscles relax and release any stress they may be holding. If your thoughts wander, refocus on your breathing and come back to where you left off. Once you've finished your body scan, start gently counting your breaths. Breathe in slowly through your nose on 1, then out through your mouth on 2, and so forth, all the way to 10. Then, start again. Continue until you feel yourself pulled out of the meditation, then gently open your eyes and stretch. Say read steps, if you want me to read each step in detail.
Read steps.
Step 1. Choose a quiet, peaceful environment. Meditation should be practiced in a peaceful location. A tranquil environment will enable you to focus exclusively on the task at hand and avoid external stimuli and distractions. Find a place where you will not be interrupted for the duration of your meditation, whether it lasts 5 minutes or half an hour. The space does not need to be very large. A walk-in closet or even an outdoor bench can be used for meditation as long as you have privacy. For those new to meditation, it's especially important to avoid any external distractions. Turn off TV sets, phones, or other noisy appliances. If you play music, choose calm, repetitive tunes to avoid breaking your concentration. You can also play white noise or quiet nature sounds, like running water. Your meditation space does not need to be completely silent, so you won't need earplugs. The sound of a lawnmower or dog barking shouldn't prevent effective meditation. In fact, being aware of these noises without letting them dominate your thoughts is an important component of meditation. Meditating outside works for many so long as you don't sit near a busy roadway or another source of loud noise. You can find peace under a tree or sitting on some lush grass in a favorite corner of a garden. Say next to get the next step.
Next.
Step 2. Wear comfortable clothes. One of the major goals of meditation is to calm the mind and block out external distractions. This can be difficult if you feel physically uncomfortable due to tight or restrictive clothing. Try to wear loose clothing during meditation practice and make sure to remove your shoes. Wear a sweater or cardigan if you plan on meditating someplace cool, or bring a blanket or shawl you can wrap around yourself. You don't want the sensation of feeling cold to consume your thoughts. If you are in a place where you can't easily change your clothes, do your best to make yourself as comfortable as possible. Try just taking off your shoes. Say next to get the next step.
Next.
Step 3. Decide how long you want to meditate. Before you begin, you should decide how long you are going to meditate. While many seasoned meditators recommend 20-minute sessions twice a day, beginners can start by doing as little as 5 minutes once a day. Once you have decided on a time frame, try to stick to it. Don't just give up because you feel like it isn't working. It will take time and practice to achieve successful meditation. Right now, the most important thing is to keep trying. Find a way to keep track of your meditation time without distracting yourself. Set a gentle alarm to alert you when your time is up. Or time your practice to end with a certain event, such as the sun hitting a certain spot on the wall. Say next to get the next step.
Next.
Step 4. Do some stretches before you start to prevent stiffness. Meditation usually involves sitting in one spot for a certain period of time, so it is important to release any tension or tightness before you begin. A couple of minutes of light stretching can help prepare both your body and mind for meditation. It will also prevent you from focusing on any sore spots instead of relaxing. Remember to stretch your neck, shoulders, and lower back, especially if you've been sitting in front of a computer. Stretching out your legs, with an emphasis on the inner thigh, can be helpful when meditating in the lotus position. If you don't already know how to stretch, consider learning different stretching techniques to try before you meditate. Many meditation experts recommend doing light yoga stretches before meditation. Say next to get the next step.
Next.
Step 5. Sit in a comfortable position. It is very important that you are comfortable while you meditate, so finding the best position for you is the goal. Traditionally, meditation is practiced by sitting on a cushion on the ground in either a lotus position or half lotus position, but this position can be uncomfortable if you lack flexibility in your legs, hips, and lower back. You want to find a posture that allows you to sit with a balanced, tall, and straight posture. You can sit, with or without crossing your legs, on a cushion, chair, or meditation bench. Once seated, your pelvis should be tilted forward enough to center your spine over your sit bones, the two bones in your behind that bear your weight when seated. To tilt your pelvis into the right position, sit on the forward edge of a thick cushion or place something about 3 or 4 inches, 7.6 or 10.2 centimeters, thick under the back legs of a chair. You can also use a meditation bench, which is usually built with a tilted seat. If you're using a bench that's not tilted, put something under it, so it tilts forward between 0.5 to 1 inch, 1.3 to 2.5 centimeters. Say next to get the next step.
Next.
Step 6. Straighten your spine once you're seated. Good posture during meditation will keep you more comfortable. Once you're in a comfortable position, focus on the rest of your back. Start from your bottom and think about each vertebra in your spine as balancing one on top of another to support the whole weight of your torso, neck, and head. It requires practice to find the position that allows you to relax your torso with only slight effort being used to maintain your balance. Whenever you feel tension, relax the area. If you can't relax it without slumping, check the alignment of your posture and seek to rebalance your torso, so those areas can relax. The most important thing is that you are comfortable, relaxed, and have a balanced torso, so your spine can support all of your weight from the waist up. The traditional hand placement involves resting your hands in your lap, palms facing upward, with your right hand on top of your left. However, you can also rest your hands on your knees or leave them hanging down by your side. Say next, to get the next step.
Next.
Last step. Close your eyes if it helps you focus and relax. Meditation can be performed with the eyes open or closed. As a beginner, it is often best to try meditating with closed eyes in order to avoid visual distractions. Once you have grown accustomed to meditation, you can try practicing with your eyes open. This tends to help if you find yourself falling asleep when meditating with your eyes closed or if you experience disturbing mental images, which happens to a small number of people. If you keep your eyes open, you will need to keep them soft by not focusing on any one thing in particular. You don't want to go into a trance-like state. The goal is to feel relaxed, yet alert. You've reached the end of the article. Do you want to learn how to do something else? You can ask me now.
Echo, how do I breathe?
How to breathe. To breathe properly, take deep breaths using your diaphragm so you're getting more oxygen, and avoid taking shallow breaths with your chest. To tell if you're breathing with your diaphragm, place your hand on your belly and inhale. If it expands, you're breathing with your diaphragm, and if it doesn't, you're taking shallow breaths. Also, try to inhale through your nose instead of your mouth since your nose helps purify the air and regulate the air temperature. Say read steps, if you want me to read each step in detail.
Read steps.
Step 1. Take deep breaths and avoid shallow chest breathing. It's easy to get in the habit of taking short, shallow breaths without even realizing it. However, it's important to train yourself to breathe deeply since deep breaths are better at oxygenating your body and can actually help reduce stress. Take a moment to pay attention to your breathing. If only your chest is rising and falling when you breathe, you're likely taking shallow breaths. You want to use your diaphragm when you breathe, which is a thin muscle underneath your lungs. When you take a deep breath, your diaphragm moves downward and gives your lungs more room to fill up and expand. You'll know you're breathing with your diaphragm if your belly expands when you inhale. Say next, to get the next step.
Next.
Step 2. Inhale through your nose instead of your mouth. Breathing through your nose helps purify the air so you're not inhaling as many irritants. It also helps regulate the temperature of the air you're breathing in. If you normally breathe through your mouth, practice closing your mouth and inhaling through your nose. Then, exhale through your nose or mouth, whichever is most comfortable. Inhaling through your nose might be difficult at first if you're used to breathing with your mouth, but it will get easier over time with practice. Say next, to get the next step.
Next.
Step 3. Maintain good posture and keep your body relaxed. Slouching and tensing your muscles makes it harder to take full, deep breaths. Instead, you want to stand up straight, relax your shoulders, and loosen your joints so it's easier to breathe. Try slouching forward, lifting your shoulders up toward your head so they're tense, and taking a deep breath. Then, stand up straight, relax your shoulders, and take another deep breath. You should be able to feel how much easier it is to breathe when you have good posture and you're relaxed. Whenever you catch yourself slouching or tensing up, adjust your posture and take a moment to relax your muscles. Say next, to get the next step.
Next.
Step 4. Check in on your breathing throughout the day to see if you're improving. Since you don't usually realize that you're breathing, it can be tricky to notice whether or not you're doing it properly. However, you can schedule regular check-ins throughout the day, like first thing in the morning and at lunchtime, to get a better idea of how you're breathing. Try to check in at the same time every day so it becomes a routine. Being more mindful of your breathing can help you make adjustments if necessary. For example, if you notice that you're taking shallow breaths whenever you check on your breathing, you'll know to work on taking deeper breaths from your diaphragm. Say next, to get the next step.
Next.
Last step. Try calming breathing exercises whenever you're feeling anxious or stressed. Taking deep, purposeful breaths can actually help you calm down and think more clearly in stressful or scary situations. To make deep breathing easier, try practicing a couple breathing exercises so you can use them the next time you're feeling overwhelmed. For example, you can quickly relax when you're feeling stressed by taking deep breaths through your nose and then sighing out loud on your exhales. If you ever feel like you're on the verge of having a panic attack, take a deep breath in for 3 seconds, hold it for 3 seconds, and then slowly exhale through pursed lips. Repeat the exercise until